Okay, Monica Green, we are live here at the Training-Led Growth video series that we're recording. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to me today.
Thank you for having me.
First thing I want to do is introduce you. This is, if you could just say a few words about yourself and your company that you work for, Epicor, that'd be great to kick it off.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Monica Green. I am the Director of L&D Strategy at Epicor Software Company. We are a software company that builds ERP applications for various verticals, manufacturing, distribution, and retail. And I lead a large global team of content developers that span various deliverables and audiences for 9 of our growth products.
Awesome. And how does Epicor in general, like your role, but how does Epicor in general think about product training for customers?
Yeah, it's actually really important to Epicor. Our group is different than most companies in that we roll up under product development. It's that important that we are considered to be really a part of product and a part of the strategy of the product. And education is actually often, in the sales process, considered a differentiator. And so it's a part of every conversation we have with our prospects, with our customers, and then we are always in lockstep with product management and product development so that our customers don't, upgrade their software tool and then 6 months later get the training on how to deal with those updates. Our training is ready and goes live alongside the product, so customers have instant access to anything they need to adapt and learn the product.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you explain to me a little bit? So when you say goes live right after it comes out, how do you do that? Are there different modes or methods people can get access to it, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so we offer a few different types of training. So we have live training, of course, and then we have video training, and we have a couple of different types of video training. Some that we put out on our on Epicor Learning Center, which is our internally developed learning management system, and we'll group that stuff into agendas that are role-based, so that as our customers learn or take an entire agenda, they're fully functional in either that feature or the role. We then have these short videos that we create that are 1 to 2 minute like YouTube videos that we embed contextually inside our products.
Oh, nice.
And then we are actually also now creating what we're calling guided learning, which actually takes our customers through how to complete a process in the product while they're doing it in the product. And so with all of those different deliverables that we create, we sit in the Scrum meetings with development. We develop in an agile method alongside of them. And so we create our content as they're creating their features and functions in the product.
The two things I was caught onto, as you said, that one, contextually, I love that. So if I was to restate that, so you're able to give people learning kind of just in time, or as they're doing a specific job or function, you can feed them this learning and training as they need it.
Absolutely. So, and that's the goal. That's where we want to go as a company is, and down the road we'll leverage AI and ML to be even better at it. But it's about, if we talk about 5 years ago, everybody was always saying content is king. Now we work off of the mantra that context is king. So we want to deliver them the content that they need based on who they are and where they are in the product.
Awesome.
At all times. Yeah.
I love that context is king.
Yes.
We also have heard that from some other folks. They describe it as learning in the stream of work.
Okay. Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, whatever you're, the job role that you're doing, and, that being able to give someone that learning and education or training, as they're in the stream of work is perhaps maybe like the most effective way to get somebody to understand it and interact with it.
Yeah, absolutely. My little buzz phrase is learning and doing simultaneously.
I like that buzz phrase.
Yeah, I say it a lot.
Learning and doing. That's great. So as I introduced us, one of the concepts and the reason, we like are interviewing people like you that are leaders in high tech and product industry for learning and training is this concept of training-led growth, and how learning and training, if you're able to train people, as you've said, contextually, learning and doing, as you said, at the same time, our thought is that, that's what really creates a happy customer, a sticky customer, and ultimately gets them to renew from you guys, buy more features from Epicor. Do you guys think about that? Is that something that you, as a strategy, plan around?
Absolutely. So, I always also talk about how I always say our customers' best experience now becomes their minimum expectation. So when we think about us as consumers and trying to put ourselves in the space of our customers, when they're not doing business with Epicor, when they're just in their general day-to-day life, they experience Amazon. They experience Google, right? They experience all of these really robust ways to getting information, access to everything. And then they come to Epicor and they're running really complex ERP systems. We want to be able to give them that same Google-like feel, Amazon experience. So we're actually in the midst of working on a strategy now that does exactly that. It's creating, single search capability inside the product that's Google-like, gives them access to everything. They never have to leave the product, reducing that customer effort. It's all about, making them successful in the product, because when they have to leave, they stop doing business. When they've got to leave the product to go figure out how to do something, whether it's in a help file or a video or whatever it may be, we stop them from doing business. We don't want to do that anymore. So that is actually one of our key initiatives for the next year, is how do we build this single search capability inside of the product that gets them access to everything they need to be successful and adopt their product. So huge fan of the topic.
I love it. Customers' best experience becomes their minimum expectation.
Yes.
That is really interesting and cool, because conversely, if you're giving them that great experience and they're with a single search can kind of get what they need right when they need it, when they go, that to me ultimately creates them as a better user.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we want to be able to because another issue that, I think every software company might deal with is deep product adoption. And so if we can find ways to ease the pain and create a little bit more comfort, like we're going to hold your hand the entire way, then they're more willing to get deeper and deeper with the product and maybe go to areas that might make, they might not be so comfortable with, because they have the tools to help them get there. So,
yeah, product adoption, that's the key, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So if Epicor, and I'm sure you guys develop agilely, and your engineering team is always forward thinking, but how do you make sure that your customers, your users, your end users, kind of know what's coming? Do you guys use your organization as a kind of a spearhead to make sure that they get the best information about the newest stuff that's coming out?
Well, the nice thing about us, about Epicor, and about the structure that we have, is we all work together through anything that we do in the product. So we work cross-functionally with, product management, product development, product marketing, corporate marketing. We're all working together to make sure that we have one unified message that informs and educates our customers on what to expect. So it isn't driven, the communication isn't driven by the education team in Epicor University specifically, but we definitely work with everybody else to make sure that messaging gets out.
Okay, can we talk a little bit about tracking and reporting and analytics?
Yes.
And so as an org, as your own team, do you guys look at how people are engaging with your content, how people are they completing what you create?
Yes, absolutely. So, and that was another big topic in terms of this direction that we're going. And it's been kind of a transition over the last few years, because the technology that was being used to maintain and build all of this content before didn't have that capability to get the rich data that we need. So over the past 2 years, we've been really working on adopting new technology that gives us that deep analytic information that we need about our customers. So now we have the visibility in seeing, what documents are our customers reading? Are the documents helpful? They can like or unlike a document. We can see, have they watched videos? Have they completed videos? Have they, done hit milestones or goals and all of that kind of stuff? And interestingly enough, I definitely want to know where our customers are going and what they are using, and if it's helpful. But I'm equally as interested in knowing what they're not using. Because if we as a large organization are spending time creating a plethora of content that we find our customers don't really need, let's stop doing that and leverage our resources intelligently to focus on the areas that our customers need more information on.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I like to inverse that data and say, not only do we want to focus on what our customers are doing, but let's pay attention to what they're not doing.
So are you able to see, customer by customer, who's the most engaged? Kind of, can you tell if you look across your customer segment, do you ever analyze kind of who's the most engaged with your content you're learning?
Well, we don't have, so because we're kind of going through this process, we don't actively have that data yet today, but we hope and plan to get there. Now, although I will say the content that exists today on our Epicor Learning Center, our learning management system, we can get that. So all of the content that sits out there, we do have access to all of our customers and their users. Are they starting a course? Are they completing a course? Are they passing or failing their tests that go along with those courses? So we do have that data today in our Epicor Learning Center outside of our product. The focus is, as we strategize to pull everything through and into the product, we want to be able to get that type of data everywhere, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. And we've heard, or one of the things that regarding training-led growth that we're trying to do, and we're in the same place you are, where we're taking new streams of data, trying to combine it with other data. The reason I asked is we have found when you can identify customers on a big customer basis, or even on a user basis, that are very engaged with your content, very engaged with your learner, it's almost like that's a green light that they're a good customer, they're a growing customer, they're a knowledgeable customer, they're a happy user. So we think that you can use analytics and data to determine who's going to be, and by the way, and then feed that to your sales organization.
Absolutely.
Your marketing organization. So taking this learning analytics and this learning content reporting and analytics, like you mentioned about engagement metrics, and feed that to marketing and feeding that to sales to say, boy, we think we've got a really engaged customer that, could potentially use some more modules, more of our function, more users, et cetera, things like that.
Yeah.
Conversely, as you said, we also are starting to identify customers that are not engaged. So not just the content, what don't people look at, but how about let's identify a customer that's like, boy, they are really not looking at our stuff when we're coming out, and that's a red flag.
Absolutely. And then think about taking that one step further and recognizing, okay, this customer isn't really adopting this feature. They haven't been here, but they own it, right? So next time they log in, let's push them something that says, hey, we noticed that you haven't used this. Would you like us to take you on a tour? Or something along those lines that really, so it isn't even about just educating, it's about, just the right, the right push, nudge in a direction to get them using it based on their behavior and their activity.
I love that. That again falls right into this concept of of using learning and using training, not only just the content and the experiences, but also then the analytics to understand those where do we have great customers that we know are going to be growing with us, revenue, and where do we have some customers that we can push and nudge a little bit harder
Yeah.
to adopt. So
Yeah.
that's great. That absolutely, that you guys are doing a great job with that whole concept. And ultimately, what we believe is that learning and training, as you said, product adoption is so critical. And there's so many alternatives that people have now. If ultimately someone's not using your product and they're not adopting it and they're not using it, that's a risk for you, because what if they next thing you know, they're on Google searching for things that you either do and they don't know about, or they're saying, they're someone new comes into the org and says, why are we using this product? Maybe there's another one. So
right. And especially as, software is, moving to the cloud and subscription, we're talking SaaS,
yes.
That attrition or losing your customers becomes ever more present and easier. So really doing it right is critical so that you get that loyalty from them.
100%.
Yeah.
That's where we all have gone to subscription. They're not using it and they're not happy and they're not adopting.
They're gonna go.
That's a problem. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, Monica, listen, thank you so much for your time. This has been a really great conversation. If you'll let me, we might take you up on another one and go a little bit deeper next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a ton of fun. Happy to do it, and I appreciate the invitation.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.